They didn't tell you at this moment the Melchizedek came out and anointed somebody for the righteousness that they did to establish the faith, did they? That's because no kings was made. They took all the air out of Gideon's sails, man. He could have been king in that moment. He killed them too. Them two kings like, man, just kill us. It ain't nothing in this, dog. Killed them. Did the exact opposite of what Abraham would have did. And said, give me the ring. Give me all the gold crescent earrings, dog. Take those earrings off these men, dog. These Ishmaelites, these Muslims, dog. Father Abraham, these cousins that we got that's supposed to know Yah. Take them earrings out of their ear, man. They were slaves of the synagogue of Satan. They melt it down and give it to me. I'm going to make a trophy out of it. That's what he did. No. He melted it down, dog. That's all that came out of that whole thing. You thought the Father was going to be glorified? He could have been. Isn't it true? It could have been a great moment in Israelite history to be able to turn them back to the faith. We could have had a king sitting back on the throne again. A representative of our Father, man, like Abraham was. To be able to show the people righteousness and redeem their soul. Instead, Gideon goes back to the crib with a bunch of earrings, dog. Crescent moon earrings.
I cry for Gideon, that his dream fell apart, struck at the heart by the workers of arts, cynics, who take the faith we need to win it. Journeys end before beginning, no kidding, trapped inside a life with no happy ending, given a position with no point but hedonism, sinning, but no reason for the sinning, so they work to keep the winners from winning. It breaks my heart to see you give up. So give glory to God. Head up, Gideon.
People get their kicks in stomping on your dream. And only God in heaven knows, pain's deep past where eyes can't see. From trials gain wisdom, gain courage and gain strength. Use these 4 gifts to lead the lost away.
Judges 8. And the men of Ephraim said to him, what is this that you have done to us, not to call us when you went to fight with Midian? And they upbraided him violently. And he said to them, what have I done now in comparison with you? Is not the gleaning of the grapes of Ephraim better than the vintage of Abiezer? God has given into your hands the princes of Midian, Oreb and Zeb. What have I been able to do in comparison with you? Then their anger against him was abated when he had said this. And Gideon came into the Jordan and passed over, he and 300 men who were with him, faint yet pursuing. So he said to the men of Succoth, pray, give loaves of bread to the people who follow me, for they are faint, and I am pursuing Zebah and Zalmunna, the kings of Midian. And the officials of Succoth said, are Zebah and Zalmunna already in your hand that we should give bread to your army? And Gideon said, well then, when the Lord has given Zebah and Zalmunna into my hand, I will flail your flesh with the thorns of the wilderness and the briars. And from there he went up to Peniel and spoke to them in the same way. And the men of Peniel answered him as the men of Succoth had answered. And he said to the men of Peniel, when I come again in peace, I will break down this tower. Now Zebah and Zalmunna were in Karkor with their army, about 15,000 men, all who were left of all the army of the people of the east. For there had fallen 120,000 men who drew the sword. And Gideon went up by the caravan route east of Nobah and Jogbehah and attacked the army, for the army was off its guard. And Zebah and Zalmunna fled. And he pursued them and took the 2 kings of Midian, Zebah and Zalmunna, and he threw all the army into a panic. Then Gideon the son of Joash returned from the battle by the passage of Hears, and he caught a young man of Succoth and questioned him, and he wrote down for him all the officials and elders of Succoth, 77 men. And he came to the men of Succoth and said, Behold, Zebah and Zalmunna, about whom you taunted me, saying, Are Zebah and Zalmunna already in your hand, that we should give bread to your men who are faint? And he took the elders of the city, and he took thorns of the wilderness and briars with them, and taught the men of Succoth. And he broke down the tower of Penuel, and slew the men of the city. Then he said to Zebah and Zalmunna, Where are the men whom you slew at Tabor? They answered, As you are, so are they, every one of them. They resembled the sons of a king. And he said, They were my brothers, the sons of my mother. As the Lord lives, if you had saved them alive, I would not slay you. And he said to Jether, his firstborn, Rise and slay them. But the youth did not draw his sword, for he was afraid, because he was still a youth. Then Zebah and Zalmunna said, Rise yourself and fall upon us, for as the man is, so is his strength. And Gideon arose and slew Zebah and Zalmunna, and he took the crescents that were on the necks of their camels. Then the men of Israel said to Gideon, Rule over us, you and your son, and your grandson also, for you have delivered us out of the hand of Midian. Gideon said to them, I will not rule over you, and my son will not rule over you. The Lord will rule over you. And Gideon said to them, Let me make a request of you. Give me every man of you the earrings of his spoil. For they had golden earrings, because they were Ishmaelites. And they answered, We will willingly give them. And they spread a garment, and every man cast in it the earrings of his spoil. And the weight of the golden earrings that he requested was 1,700 shekels of gold, besides the crescents and the pendants and the purple garments worn by the kings of Midian, and besides the collars that were about the necks of their camels. And Gideon made an ephod of it, and put it in his city, in Ophrah, and all Israel played the harlot after it there, and it became a snare to Gideon and to his family. So Midian was subdued before the people of Israel, and they lifted up their heads no more. And the land had rest 40 years in the days of Gideon. Jerubbaal, the son of Joash, went and dwelt in his own house. Now Gideon had 70 sons, his own offspring, for he had many wives. And his concubine, who was in Shechem, also bore him a son. And he called his name Abimelech. And Gideon, the son of Joash, died in a good old age, and was buried in the tomb of Joash, his father, at Ophrah of the Abiezrites. As soon as Gideon died, the people of Israel turned again and played the harlot after the Baals, and made Baal-berith their god. And the people of Israel did not remember the Lord their God, who had rescued them from the hand of all their enemies on every side. And they did not show kindness to the family of Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, in return for all the good that he had done to Israel. This is the Lord. This is God our Father, yeah.
You got it? Ephraim? Ephraim. Repent. What do we got? Joshua, Judges. Who wants a piece? Football? What's up? Forgotten but not gone. And repent. And who else? Emmanuel. Sticks and stones. Is it you out? What? Snake size? Wow. What y'all getting out of these chapters? There's a lot going on though, wasn't it? Scoop. We will break you down. It was a lot going on in this chapter, wasn't it? Did y'all get a hold of it? Anybody else? Yeah. Blue. Joshua. Judges. Judges 8. Judges 8. You intentionally got that at the angle, kind of like? Okay. All right. Let's go again. I just wanted to make sure it didn't get turned so long. Judges 8. Glory to glory to glory. Really, I was going to name it, What Means the World to You? Really, I was going to name it, What Means the World to You? But it's going to be glory to glory to glory. It's really a chapter. What was the word I was going to use for it? There's contention, you know? It's a little bit everywhere, but the one thing you should know that's a prevailing theme throughout the chapter, it's one of them things that they said at the beginning of Judges, sort of like a good thesis at the beginning of a paper or the beginning of a book, like the way Tolstoy writes. What did he write, Tarsha?
Happy families are all the same. Unhappy families are all the same. Or
Something like
Happy
that.
families are all the same.
okay, that's
All different in the same way or something. What is that?
That all unhappy families are different, while all happy families.
Something like that. And it's like, he gonna prove that, you know what I mean? On every page and stuff. Well, when Judges opens up, they've got something for you right at the beginning. I hope you guys haven't forgot. I talk about it every time. It's the time where, you know, they're like, at this time, really, Israel found themselves doing whatever they felt like. They're gonna probably repeat that several times throughout Judges, but when you get into the book of Judges, that's what they're saying. They're saying, or either that is at the end of Deuteronomy. But basically, at the end of Deuteronomy, beginning of Judges, they make this statement like, look, after Joshua was done, they moved into a period, do as thou wilt. They moved into a period where it was just like everybody was doing anything they felt like. You understand? And that's why I'm labeling this one glory to glory to glory. And from a righteous perspective, I know y'all are thinking like, oh snap, God's gonna be glorified and stuff. But really, that's why I'm like, I told you I was toying also with what means the world to you. Why? Because everybody wants to be glorified in and of themselves in this chapter. That's why I said contention. like on the rough side of the mountain going up there. Notice this chapter, Gideon, who's our hero from the last chapter, basically, he liberates them from the Midianites. We find out that there's a small sect of the Midianites, or some part of them, or a large part of them. These are Ishmaelites, man, Muslims. They coming from the other side of Abraham. That surprised me. That completely surprised me. But guess what? The Ishmaelites, they look different by the time we get to the end of it. But Gideon is our hero from the last chapter. He's chasing these two prince kings down because they've escaped from the field of battle. Okay? And Gideon is, oh man, he's such a character because, like, oh, I stand corrected on something. In the end, that Jerubbaal that they've been calling him, to be sarcastic about it, it comes back out. Did y'all see that? It comes back out. This dude gonna take all the gold and melt it down and make him a little personal god, dude. At the end there. In the end, people view Gideon and Jerubbaal as having been out for self, though. You understand? Glory to glory to glory. What means the world to you? What is this? What this is about you and how you're going to be glorified. They view him like that, and appropriately so, you guys. And that's why they telling you that his lineage, his family, and stuff like that. Nobody in Israel ended up respecting them. It just was like, yeah, okay. Are we in times like that? Where it's like people come and they do stuff and people be like, yeah, okay, whatever. But you're just gonna be buried like everybody else. Like none of that work gonna stand because really there was no purpose in it because there wasn't no real righteousness in it. I'm kind of like, there was a time where, for instance, we came back to the States, we stopped by the nation's capital and stuff like that, and there was different monuments and stuff. And I'm not all into monuments or nothing like that. But I feel like there was a time where it was like people was doing stuff and that work was standing because it's like you always are referencing back to these people. You get what I'm talking about, and some of the righteousness that they stood for, even within their imperfections. And I just feel like, honest to goodness, I feel like even just some of the presidents that you remember and stuff. But I feel like all of these last few presidents of the United States is going to be forgotten. Nothing in it, dude. And like we're in a time of judges, like all this leaders is just gonna be forgotten, dude. Like this person came, I guess they did a couple terms. This one came and did a couple, but there's no greatness in it. It's just like this person came, they did what they needed to do for themselves. That doesn't stand. So people just be like, yeah, okay. Who's the next one? But nobody's doing anything great. Why? Because there's no purpose in it. It's not gonna stand because there's no righteousness in it. What means the world to you? What are you after? That's the problem with Gideon and every single one of these people. None of that stuff is going to stand for very long, and that's what they keep saying. This one only stood for 40 years. His work only stood for 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, how deep was the righteousness within it? How deep was the purpose in it? Or was it all just really some mercenary type action, some self-serving thing? Glory to glory to glory. Not to God, but to you. That's where the contention comes from. He's chasing down these two guys, and you would think because he's doing a great righteous thing in all Israel that he would have the cooperation of the people. But it says once he had already won those battles, the first people he ran into was Ephraim. Ephraim gonna come down and be like, listen to this, and y'all are gonna see that I named this thing appropriately. Ephraim gonna come down and gonna say to Gideon, you fought that battle, you won it, but that don't mean you're gonna be the man. That's basically essentially what they said. They basically said, you went and fought a battle, and yeah, you won it. We don't know why you fought it like that with just the 300 men. They can't see no righteousness in it. They don't see none of the Father's hand on it or nothing. But Gideon not representing well either. It's not like he's out there like, man, the Father was so good to us. Let's pray, you guys. You know what I'm saying? Or anything like that. But the Father is with him. The Father already said, I handed it into your hand. But it's not like Gideon is doing a great job of representing that. Why? Because Gideon wasn't raised like that. He don't know anything about that. You know that his dad was a ballist. Joash was into that. And they're going to be back into that. So Gideon isn't the strongest representative to be able to say, we're going to write this ship, watch this, on Israel's covenant and rededication to the Father. It's really something kind of new and novel to him. He's going to do it. But guess what? When it's new and novel like that, when people do it, they still can't get away from the fact of being self-interested. I'm just being honest with you guys. It takes multiple generations to create those type of blue bloods. People who like really, when they do stuff, there's purpose in it. And the meaning of it goes back several generations. It's difficult to get away from, in one generation, people that do things outside of themselves. Did y'all hear what I said? I'm going to repeat that. It's difficult in one generation to get outside of people who only just do stuff for themselves. What I'm trying to tell you is, Abraham, it had to touch for people to start to really understand from Nahor down to Abraham. Are you understanding what I'm talking about? Remember, Abraham's dad had to name a city after his dead brother. You see what I'm talking about? That they have to go through multiple generations until it occurs to Abraham. You see what I'm talking about? To say, I can do something that really don't got nothing to do with me. Are y'all seeing what I'm saying? And he does that. Even in doing it, he bring Lot with him and stuff, and we can see that some of those things was kind of like maybe mistakes. But Abraham is of the thought process. I can do something that's not strictly just about me. That takes a couple generations to build up. Takes a couple generations of like people being selfless and stuff. Where the dad could have named it after himself or whatever, he can't name it after his brother. You see what I'm talking about? That's what I'm saying. Usually, first generation out, people try to do good things, but there's self-interest all wrapped up in it. Glory to glory to glory. And Gideon is a first generationer. His daddy worshiped Baal. He gets introduced to the Father again through what? The little fleece on the ground. Remember that? So Gideon's out here doing something, but guess what? Some of it is like righteousness from the Father, but a lot of it is what? Gideon. And people see that. That's why Ephraim came down like, they can't see the righteousness in it that the Father wanted to do with 300, right? So that he could show them he was real instead of doing it with 32,000. You get what I'm talking about? I couldn't see that. You know what they said? They told us some Gideon gonna do that so he could take over. That's what Ephraim said. They went up, ran up on Gideon like, bro, we'll kill you right now if you thinking about taking over. Because you went and fought that battle, you think you about to be the man? Are you snaked us? So you think you're gonna supplant us? You think you're gonna be bigger than Ephraim? And Gideon, okay, is wily enough to be like, no, it wasn't like that. I can never be bigger than y'all. That's essentially what he said. That little stuff I did, that ain't nothing compared to what y'all be doing. Y'all are big dogs. And they were like, okay. That's what happened. Gideon put Gideon on the spot and was going to apply the screws to him. And Gideon was like, no, y'all the big dogs on the block. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Fly on the wall, bro. Like, and it was like, Gideon. It's like, no, for real. I'm not trying to do nothing, bro. I just did a little something. And they was like, all right, go ahead. And So he went on ahead. I think that did something to him. I think that did something to him. Gideon goes and accomplishes what he's going to accomplish, but he goes to the rough side of the mountain. Why? Everybody that he ran into was giving him that type of attitude. But that's the times that they in. You guys, side note, like, don't let people discourage you in the righteousness that the Father give you, man. To turn around and say, maybe it's not worth it, or maybe I'm just going to change my approach to make it worthwhile because I don't think it's going to pan out good. I'm saying whatever the Father puts in front of you, it's going to be good. Don't let people and the way their attitudes are and the way that they're cut. Are you understand what I'm saying? Because what they go through, don't let their cynicism, don't let none of their foolishness, they get discouraged. They can't see through the Lord for it. You see what I'm talking about? And when Satan causes people to wear down on you like that, sometimes it can turn you inside out. Something that you started out and doing something righteous that would have greatness all over it, they can let the air out of it and kind of turn you around and make you feel like, dang, maybe I'm doing this and it ain't really no point. So let me just finish it and move on. Instead of like really end up having it out fully the way the Lord intended it. You understand? Gideon was meant to be able to lead Israel into righteousness and reintroduce him to the covenant. I want to tell you that. It never happens for him. That's the tragedy of his story. The Father had meant for Gideon to reintroduce Israel back to the covenant and take him away from Baal. And he set him up with everything he needed to be able to do it. And what Gideon kept running into in the times he was living in is foolish first generation, glory to glory, what means the world you have. Everybody is contentious. Everybody's selfish. Nobody can see nothing into the future. Nobody can see nothing purposeful or greatness. They never see righteousness in nothing. He's in that type of time, and I think it's completely discouraging to him. And then he ends up saying, well, what difference does it make? Just for example, I used to have people would tell me, like, why do you feel this need to just like get involved and do all that? I'm like, that's just who I am. And they'd be like, well, why? Why don't you just live a happy life and make some money and just have good times? And because that's really all you can really do at this time. And I'm like, that's just not me. You do that. You guys, you're living in a time in which people are constantly, Satan can use them to undermine greatness that the Father intends for you to be able to reestablish his glory. You understand? But nobody wants to hear that. Why are you doing that? Because I want to glorify God. Oh. What was you doing on that? You know what? Our Father God, there's a God, man. We have a Father in heaven that's our creator. And he intends to be glorified so people know that and can live better lives than just hedonistic ones. Eating, drinking, and going to bed. That people can love each other and have a family and have everlasting life. Did you not know that? Well, I'm living so that he can be glorified and people can once again know that. Oh. Gideon is in one of those times. And he's not really steadfast in his faith, so he's running into these types of people that will literally undo your record. They will undo what the Father has done in front of you real quickly. To where it feels like, what's the point? Gideon runs into the Ephraimites. Y'all heard that one. The next thing he does, his dudes are kind of getting weird. It's only 300 of them. The Father wants to make something big out of it. He runs into two different types of people and says, hey, I'm going to go get these dudes. We're going to get a righteous victory. And they're like, what for? And they're like, guess what, though, Gideon? You probably might not even get them. And even if you do, what difference does it make? You see what I'm saying? And Gideon is like, so y'all not going to give us no bread? Coming up through here, we can't get nothing to eat? Nah, bro, because you over here trying to be purposeful and stuff, but it's not no time for that. And what have we got to do with that? And Gideon is just running on fumes, dude. Because nobody believes in anything. He's running on fumes because it's like he looking at something like maybe this is something we can believe in instead of this stupid hedonistic life we've been doing, pounding out grain and stuff. This life seems so stupid and purposeless. So he goes on a quick mission because he's like, it might be something in this. I done seen miracles in front of my eyes. So there's something else to this life than muzzling out grain like an ox. You gotta tread out this grain with a muzzle on like an ox inside of a wine press. That's our life. There could be something more. And he runs after that because it's an opportunity to do something. And on his way, that's all he runs into. Is like different types of like cynical, low down, non-believers, do as thou wilt, takers. That's all he runs into. That's what they're showing you. He gets those dudes and he's coming back through and he like, see, I told y'all I was going to get him. And people were like, yeah, whatever. He tears down the altar at Penuel, the high place. You see what I'm talking about? Whips the dudes with the briars and the thorns and wipes them out. You see what I'm talking about? Just out of anger, dude. At this point, he's really coming unhinged. It's like, I'm going to do it because I said I was going to do it. It's not really a part of their righteous mission. You understand what I'm talking about? But he like, you know what? Hey, I'm Jerubal, dude. And y'all ran y'all mouth. So, hey, I might as well. He's really distracted, but he's going to do it. He still got these kings alive with him. And then it comes his moment. Brings the kings back into a place like, yeah, you know, so like we conquer y'all. And he runs into some of his own people back again. To show y'all this craziness, dude. How they just completely took all the wind out of this Gideon sails that the father put in. With all this selfishness and contentiousness and everybody think that we just live and die and then in the middle of it we might get some little money or something, but that's it. There's no glory for our Father. There's no everlasting life, nothing. I'm about to show y'all this. Man, there ain't no everlasting life. It ain't nothing, man. Live and try to get some money. However you can. Nothing, you will never be remembered. Nothing you will do will be purposeful. It's completely destitute, man. This self-glorification, dude, will run you in the ground. Get somebody to look at you for 1 second, but that's all you get. And then just die, dog. And it's over. That's what they're doing. Listen to this. He brings the 2 kings back, and the people, this is how discouraged he is. The people are like, all right, you did that, you pushed them back. The people kind of starting to feel it a little bit. They're like, well, why don't you be king and just show us what this is you got? The moment comes. You know what Gideon was said? Man, no, man, forget it. What? Everything that he's seen in the course of doing a righteous task for the Father got undone. He's completely deflated. They like, Gideon, you could show us this righteousness. You could show us this God that did this thing. Gideon like, man, just forget it. Never mind. Gideon like, man, never mind. Never mind. What do I know, man? I wouldn't got these dudes. He turns to the dudes like, not like this is a thing that happened in front of God or nothing. He turned to the 2 kings and he was like, look, what there was some people that you came past and stuff like that. It was apparently Gideon's like cousins, family members, or whatever. And he was like, you know, what happened with those dudes? Gideon looking for like salve, like healing. Because he doesn't know God. He's looking for some therapy. He like, yo, you know, I heard this and this happened and stuff like that. And he wants the kings to be like, you know, we kind of ran up on them, but you know, they were good people and stuff like that. He looking for anything, dog, to like try to deal with his trauma. And it's traumatic for him right now. So traumatic for him because his life is nothing, dog. And he doesn't know how to make it anything more than that. And he's looking for these kings who he considers to be better than him to give him something worth living for, dude. Like, tell me something about this. The people that y'all came to think. The king said to him, oh, yeah, we murdered all of them. They look just like you and us. Yeah, they look like sons and daughters of kings. That's what they said. Did you hear that? Yeah, there were some good-looking people, some real intelligent, nice people. And you know what we did? We murdered them. We murdered them, dude. For what? For what? It's basically the question. And then they're going to say, basically to Gideon, what difference does it make? Just go ahead and kill us. You see that? Why are you asking all these questions, man? Just go ahead and kill us, dog. Let it just be over with for us. We once were kings, but nobody's going to care that we existed. We haven't done anything. Yeah, we murdered your cousins, man. Guess what? The minute you cut our heads off, we won't be kings no more, and nobody will ever know we existed. Just like your cousins that we killed. Nobody knows that they existed but you. But guess what? You're going to die. Nobody's going to know you existed. So let's get it over with. Complete just. They're completely demoralized. They have no purpose, no nothing. It's everything. Their faith is destitute. They got nothing. That's the poison that's taken over, dude. That the kings are sitting there like, bro, just kill us and get it over with. You ask too many questions. Just kill us and get it over with. Man, you ask too many questions, dog. What are you looking for? We murder each other, we become kings, but it really ain't nothing in it. Gideon told his son to do it, and his son was like, I don't really want to do it. And it was like, Gideon, you're just like us. You're going to be nothing. Just go ahead and do it yourself. He killed him. When he cut off the head, you think it was a big shining light that came? Nothing. Just more nothingness, purposelessness. You see? Gideon, back with the people. Okay, Gideon, you gonna be the king? No, I told you I ain't nothing in it, dog. You see how he's able to turn that down? Because he just killed 2 kings and then nobody cared. And the kings themselves didn't care. Look what Gideon gonna do, and this is where the crazy part happened, dude. Wow. Ooh, this was so crazy. He was like, dog, I don't want to be your king. This is why I brought Abraham up at the beginning. This is a completely counter reference to Abraham. Remember when Abraham was in the Valley of Kings? I preach that a lot. I always come back to that. It's great. It was one of the greatest moments ever in the whole Bible. It's one of the greatest moments. As a matter of fact, I wish I could just preach that again. Be like one of these preachers that keep preaching the same one. Because that right there is a chapter. When Abraham come back from rescuing all those people, and they get out of the valley of the shadow of death, then they appear into the valley of kings, dog. Abraham didn't even realize that he was king. And then Melchizedek went and blessed them and stuff like that in front of the other kings, Salem and them. And they like, dang, Abraham, the man, right? It was so crazy. And then what your boy gonna say? King Salem, he rolled up to Abraham. What he said? He said, look, you rescued all them people. You went and won all that great battles. You went and chased down them King Chedorlaomer and them. You see that? Y'all see the similarities? Are y'all there? Glory to glory to glory. You went and chased down Chedorlaomer and them, all up through the hills and stuff. You found them. And he said, and Melchizedek said, yeah, so Abraham is king. And immediately Salem moved in there and said, this is the same move. Abraham, why don't you just give us the people and you take all the gold? You see what the wicked king Salem tried to do to undo the crown rightfully placed onto Abraham? Melchizedek anointed him. Just like the way Samuel did David. But you see how the wicked king Salem gonna try to undo it and try to get Abraham to just throw his crown on the ground? What did he say? He said, let go of these people and stuff that you rescue. Don't worry about the people and trying to do righteousness and show them righteousness and show them everlasting life. Just take this gold. Abraham said what? Our Father Yah will be glorified today, dog. Boom. You see that? Huh? Real kings, man. Abraham said, man, you're going to try to discourage me with that what means the world to you, man. You will try to discourage me with this selfishness. It's nothing in this kingship, but just trying to get a little money, dude. After all this work I done did, you gonna try to say it ain't nothing in it. Abraham said, there is, dude. Our Father will be glorified. There's a faith that's going to grow inside of these people. There's a new faith that's going to be established to cause them to live. It's going to be done through my example. Juxtapose Gideon, man. He's at the exact same moment, went through, chased down them kings. The wicked ones, like Chedorlaomer and them, and brought them back. Like, hey, they done. He gets presented with the same option. So you going to take the people and show them the faith and be a king? And Gideon like, no, it ain't nothing in it. Give me the spoils of war, dog. Give me the spoils of war. The very thing that Abraham turned down. All the jewelry and stuff they collected. The very thing that Abraham said, there's no way, because if I take that, they would never say that there's a God, dude. They would never say we got a Father Yah in heaven who loves us. King was made on that day. A real one. And here they come to another day like it, and Gideon can't see through it, man. Because everybody around him, all the kings around, everybody is so into themselves, and it's nothing in that. His daddy, every king that he done ran into, everybody along the way, even the Ephraimites who come down, dog, why you do that battle? Because it's supposed to have been us that did that. You trying to be the man? No, I'm not trying to be the man. I just was trying to do something righteous. Oh, okay then. Well, you just make sure, dog, because, you know, we're the ones around here that get the glory. All of that stuff and getting is just like, man, forget this, dog. He misses the ability in a moment to be able to show the people a real good faith so that they can have everlasting life. They can be introduced to Yah, the king. So he's sitting there and he like, no, just go. I'm just going to take these earrings. Give me all them earrings, man. This was a moment. It's a crazy moment, dude. Because it's when they reveal to you that all of this stuff that Abraham had did has come to nothing again after these generations, dude. We have to keep rebuilding. You know who he conquered, dog? The Ishmaelites. Dog, that's Abraham's folks. That's when the moment comes out. When he was like, yeah, give me all their jewelry. They said they went and took all the earrings up off of them people. Men with earrings, dog. Okay, fine, but they was like bald dudes or some crazy people. Nope. Father Abraham's sons. Ishmaelites, man, Muslims. With the crescent moon. That's what they're talking about. They talking about we got the crescent moon at the Father Abraham. We watch 5 times a day. We're devout. We want to follow a Yah. But by the way, go ahead and make me a crescent moon. I'm going about to pierce both of my ears. Who is that? You got pierced with the all, man. You're of the synagogue of Satan now, dog. You serve him. You like to wear gold earrings and jewelry and purple and ride around on camels, dude, with all these fine garments. That's your cut now. You see how they're describing them? Your kings don't see no purpose in nothing. Them two kings wasn't like, hey, listen, we serve a God, a Father that's able to deliver us. Is that what they said? You wouldn't even know they came out of Abraham, man. You wouldn't know some of these Muslims today came out of Abraham. So you got the crescent moon and the camel, you got the purple garments and stuff. We wouldn't know you came from Abraham. You're not presenting the faith to people, man. They capture your kings. Your kings be like, yeah, just kill me. It ain't nothing to it. They're not professing the faith of Abraham. They don't know the Israelites. That's the thing. These are all children of Abraham right here, you guys. They don't recognize each other because they completely lost all their faith. The ones that come from Jacob, the ones that come from Ishmael, the ones that come from Isaac, the ones that come from Ishmael. They in this place, dude, killing each other. Say it ain't so. Everybody that came out of Abraham has found themselves in a place killing one another, dog. And guess what? Over what? Money. The very thing Abraham said, if I take this, they'll say I'm not a child of God. What means the world to you, man? Glory to glory to glory. These men find themselves in a place, all supposed to be kings, a replay of Abraham in the Valley of Kings. And this what they decide. Look, let's get this gold and melt it down, and let's just kill each other. Let's just die as kings. But we know that there's nothing in this, nothing. They don't say that at this moment a priest came out Melchizedek and started anointing people. Did they say that? Because there's nothing there. They didn't tell you at this moment the Melchizedek came out and anointed somebody for the righteousness that they did to establish the faith, did they? That's because no kings was made. They took all the air out of Gideon's sails, man. He could have been king in that moment. He killed them two. Them two kings like, man, just kill us. It ain't nothing in this, dog. Killed them. Did the exact opposite of what Abraham would have did. And said, give me the ring. Give me all the gold crescent earrings, dog. Take those earrings off these men, dog. These Ishmaelites, these Muslims, dog. Father Abraham, these cousins that we got that's supposed to know Yah. Take them earrings out of their ear, man. They were slaves of the synagogue of Satan. They melt it down and give it to me. I'm going to make a trophy out of it. That's what he did. Oh. He melted it down, dog. That's all that came out of that whole thing. You thought the Father was going to be glorified? He could have been. Isn't it true? It could have been a great moment in Israelite history to be able to turn them back to the faith. We could have had a king sitting back on the throne again. A representative of our Father, man, like Abraham was. To be able to show the people righteousness and redeem their soul. Instead, Gideon goes back to the crib with a bunch of earrings, dog. Crescent moon earrings. That's what the faith has become. Jewelry, dude. You know, little Jesus pieces, little crucifixes, little crescent moons. That's what the faith has become in the age of Gideon, dog, that we live in. Just little stupid little iconic symbols that could be melted down and transferred. Your crescent moon or your crucifix ain't nothing. We're going to melt that down and turn it into an ephod and worship it until we die and get buried with our ballist, animist ancestors. They're right there at the Oaks of Mamre and all of that stuff. They could have said that Gideon got buried with Abraham and them. Nope. Gideon, you go ahead and get buried with Joash, dog. Your ballless daddy and everything that came out of that. And what did they say? What did they say? As long as Gideon was there, they said that Gideon, this is what they said. They didn't refer to him as Gideon no more. They said Jerubbaal went back to the crib. Didn't they say that? Abraham came out the valley of the shadow of death into the valley of kings and left as a king, a priest forever in the order of Melchizedek. A real king, man, and established a faith that was going to stand forever. He went from Abram to Abraham, dog. And Gideon went from Gideon to Jerubbaal. They talk about Jerubbaal went home, dog. Woo. Y'all understand what I'm talking about? Fear victory, like the foolishness that they have men do. It's like this. So what you about to do today? Oh, we about to go play so-and-so on them. Okay, and then what? And then we going to win and score. Then what? We going to score a bunch of points. And then what? Then we going to win. And then what? Oh, well, next week we going to play so-and-so. And then what? And we going to score and we going to win. And then what? And we're going to keep doing that. This is not little boys, this grown men talking, you guys. I'm not talking about little boys having fun. I'm talking about young people just competing and having fun. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about grown men. And after I keep doing that, I'm the greatest of all time. The greatest of what, dog? You want to be the greatest of what? At what time? Eventually, I'm going to get to be the champion. And then what? They going to give me a golden ephod to worship. And then what? I'm going to go home with it. You ain't no king. You have to win a little trophy and go home. I used to play sports. Sometimes we win. I played on a lot of winning teams. We won a lot. And so long as we had another game the next week, it was great. I'll show y'all something. Then sometimes we would get to like the playoffs or get to the semifinals or get to the championship. Then we would lose. Them was terrible days. Because it'd be like, dang, we lost. And then all those little boys and stuff would be crying and stuff. Saying like, dog, we lost. Could have won the trophy. Them was terrible days. I'm not gonna lie to you, them was bad days. Nobody wanted to lose, you know what I'm saying? And I had to tell everybody in the hood, like, dog, y'all won, dog. Everybody in the hood waiting to hear the word that y'all won the championship. You come back empty-handed. They wanted to see their little ephod, little melted down gold trophy too. They ain't got nothing else better to do at home. Them was bad days. I'm not gonna even lie. I'm gonna share something with y'all though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna share something with y'all that's deep. for me. I'm not talking about the rest of these clowns. I don't know about the way the rest of these people are wired. The people that you're reading about. Them two kings that was like, just kill me. You know what I'm talking about? We killed a bunch of awesome God-looking people last week, but just go ahead and kill us this week, and we had no mercy. We didn't see nothing good in them. I don't know about how they wired. You understand? Are y'all hearing me? They might could be able to get the trophy and go home and feel great. But you know the worst day for me? When I used to play sports, when we would play every single game, we would win every single game undefeated. Then we went to the championship, won that undefeated, took the trophy. The worst day, way worse than the ones that when we lost and came with no trophy. Do you understand? I told y'all, them was really bad days. We lost, we didn't get no trophy. We had to go back through the hood, tell them that we lost. Them was bad days. But you know what was worse? For me, when we won the championship and got the trophy, and then the next day you at home with nothing to do. And you sit there thinking like, what was all that for? I'm serious. I put so much hard work into that. Everybody told me it was going to be glorious. They said I'm going to be glorified in that moment. There's a lot of glory in winning those games and getting that championship. The worst day by far for me was the next day and being like, I'm at home with this trophy. This was stupid. And you sitting there like, dang, so we don't got practice no more. We ain't got a game next week. All I get is this stupid little trophy that just sits there. And you just walking around like a big fat nobody, dog. I mean, of course, people saying that you king, but honestly, it's like I might as well be dead. And month after month goes by with that same stupid feeling. Until the next year come and they say, all right, we're going to start again. And he say, oh, yeah. All right, then. Okay, fine. And then it happens all over again. Glory to glory to glory, dude. What we going to do for this trophy every year? But to find yourself in position to where the Father has put you into a purposeful position in life that you can touch people, man, not take home a trophy. You can touch real live human souls like Abraham did and rescue them so that they have everlasting life and they can know the Father, they can know AI, they can know there could be righteous leadership, that this life is worth living in a righteous way so you have everlasting life. And that the way our Father wired us, we won't have to live a purposeless life and expect death. Hell on earth, real anguish, man. What's the word they use for it, Charsha? Nah, like when you just realize what's the point. I told you I felt that way one time in my life. And I kept asking myself, then what you gonna do next after you make a bunch of money as a lawyer and stuff like that? It was the time when I read the screw tape letters. I read the screw tape letters. Your mother gave me the screw tape letters. It saved my life because I was most certainly going to end it. Because I started to get that same feeling I got after all them championships I won playing football and basketball. Only this time, it was about my life. After I win another trophy, then what? This time it wasn't about no little football and basketball. Satan caught me in the corner and was like, yeah, so after you get all this money, then what? So then after when you graduate school, then what? And I had nothing. I had nothing, dude. I had no faith. I had nothing, dude. I had no fleece with water on it. I had nothing. I didn't know the Father to be able to say, you know what, Satan? Guess what? My Father has everlasting life for me. And what I'm going to do while I'm here is make sure other people got everlasting life. And you know what? There's purpose in that. In fighting against your wicked butt, dude. And that's something that I can do into eternity. I can chase your wicked self down through every mountain, dog. Into eternity, and will feel great doing that. Because listen, as long as I can do that, I can find purpose. I never have to think about the day after, dude. And when your mother gave me the screw tape letters, at that moment I read it, I said, oh, there we go. When it showed that there's purpose in defeating Satan so that people can live, man, and we're always in a war against old screw tape and wormwood, dude. So that people can live and our Father can be glorified. I was like, oh, okay, I'm good. I was having that feeling at that time. And I once expressed that to you. There was a word that they used for it. Despair. That's when Satan is at his best. When you can do something and toil away, and at the end of it is just a little gold, little ephod that you can put. But there's no kingship, there's no faith, there's no everlasting life, man. You didn't save no souls. You didn't do nothing for the people that God created, and you didn't glorify your Father who created you. You didn't do any of that, but you got the gold trophy. And the day after, I'm telling you, Satan's coming with it to condemn you to death and cause you to accept it like the two kings that stood there. Who sat there and said, yeah, we seen them beautiful people. Guess what? They got met with the same fate that we about to meet. And we ain't got no problem with it. Because guess what, Jerubal? You're going to get it too. You know what that is? That's called despair and death, bro. And our Father, Yah, through Christ who was there at the beginning, gave us an answer for Satan when he comes with that. To hell with you. I get to glorify my Father forever because that's what he created me to do. There's great purpose in that. I don't have to feel no type of despair, emptiness, purposelessness. Whatever my Father tells me to do, I'm going to do it. And guess what? There's glory in that for him and me, and I'm going to have a purpose forever being able to do that. Satan, too bad for you. That it wasn't enough. And you went chasing after your own glory. You went chasing after your own gold ephod, your own little crescent moon earrings. Too bad for you, Satan. And you got cast down like a lightning bolt even. With everybody else who couldn't see no purpose in glorifying our Father. Some of us, we can live forever without despair, knowing that we can glorify our Father every day. That's what it said. that there's angels in heaven. This is what they do. They sing the hallelujah praise. That's all they do. And they feel great doing that. There's no despair. There's no despair or nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, get in. Because you didn't do it for the Father, man. Satan was able to run up on you in the end. You see what I'm saying? And make you feel bold. You feel what I'm talking about? Are y'all there? Get in. You lost your way in the middle of it all. Through some of these cynical clowns, man, who let the air out of your sails. And you got caught up into, well, I guess I'm just going to get some glory out of this. That's what happened to him. And so on the flip side, Satan got into him, dog. Like, I got him now. Because now that he just went and did it for his own glory, I can get him with the despair. And Israel won't have no king, and neither will the Ishmaelites, dog. They won't have no faith. Do it for the glory of our Father, you all. You understand? Trust me. They get after you. Say, you do it for your own glory. Do it for this, do it for that. It's going to be okay. Get the gold ephod, man. Go ahead and get the crescent moon earrings. Go ahead and get the iced out Jesus piece, man. Go ahead and get that platinum crucifix. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. You get money and stuff like that. You could just live this life in that type of way. You know? Go ahead and get the money. Glorify yourself. Post your little post on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So people can give you that new currency of them likes. You know what I'm talking about? Do that, because just figure out a way to glorify yourself, because in the end, it's all despair anyway. You're gonna die alone, dog, with your gold trophy. But there's nothing in it except for going home and staring at it. Nothing but a life full of despair playing for you. All you got is a life full of despair. Yeah. My father says differently. For some of us that are wired, we're all wired, we're supposed to be wired that way. That if we're presented with those types of situations, we're supposed to feel that. We're supposed to feel that emptiness. And in those moments, Satan tries to capitalize on us. But we're supposed to seek, we're supposed to knock. The door will be open. Seek and you will find. And at that point, the Father will show you, man, the fleece, man, the golden fleece will be there. And he'll give you purpose to go out there and fight against the wicked and defeat them. And give leadership back to the people so that they won't have despair and death, but will have hope and everlasting life. That they will experience those virtues of love and hope and everlasting life. And have a life worth living that our Father intended. There's great purpose in that. And I bless you in his name. Yep. Our great Father, Yah, who intends great things and great purpose for us, that he will be glorified through our lives that he's given us this week. Yeah. And the one who is able to come and do it so that we will know how to do it perfectly, to be able to live our life in perfect purpose to glorify our Father and our Father only. That why you call me good when the only thing that's good is our Father. Don't glorify me, glorify him, and we can all live. That's the brother. And I pray that our Father does. lift up his countenance upon you. That he causes his face to shine upon you and is gracious to you. He lifts up his countenance upon you and gives you peace. Praying in his name and in the name of the Son, Christ Yeshua, and in the name of our Father, and Yahweh's most holy Spirit, Yahweh.